Hey everyone, I am back. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. I hope that you have had a wonderful week. For those of you who are brand new to Mental Health Moment, welcome, welcome. It's Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. So let me know in the comments where you are tuning in from today. I am in the Tampa Bay area of Florida, where I reside. Now I can officially say Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Last week it was pretty interesting on Mental Health Moment because this is a global community. It was just interesting because I was technically live on New Year's Eve on this side of the world. But for some of you, you were already celebrating 2025. And for some of us, we were still in 2024. So that was an interesting, interesting live to be like Happy New Year's Eve and Happy New Year's. But now I can officially say Happy New Year's to you. So let me know in the comments again where you are tuning in from today. If you're new to Mental Health Moment is all about how do you work on becoming the best version of who you are so you can show up powerfully for yourself and for the people around you. So, the last couple of months here on Mental Health Moment, we have been going through my newest book, Mindset Training, Conquer Your Mind, and the Rest Will Follow. We finished last week. We went through every single chapter, and I was highlighting different parts of the book. So if you missed any of those, if you're just tuning in, again, Dr. Nekeshia Hammond YouTube is where you can get all the replays of the entire book. And again, thanks for those who are starting to join here. Oh, I can finally see some comments. It's exciting. Thanks so much for joining here. And again, I'm in Tampa Bay area for now, which, believe it or not, you all, for some of you who know me well, I don't love the cold by any means. And what are we in? We're in the 40s today, which was insanely cold for us Floridians. So today's mental health moment, it's a new year. I know it starts to happen because it happens every year. Is you may be at a place where you're like, new year, new me, best year ever, like all these sorts of things, which is there's nothing wrong with that. Those are all great things to want to happen. We all want good things to happen, right? Of course. Life also throws us curveballs and surprises just for fun. But I do want to remind you as you head into this new year that it is important to think about the process of letting go. And I'm going to share with you today what do I mean by that, because I know you've heard it before. It is almost a buzz phrase, I feel like, that I see often on social media. Let it go, or let go, or just release, like all these emotions or things that may have happened last year. But how in the world do you actually do that, right? What do you think of though when you think of letting go, right? So a couple things. First and foremost, not just for today's mental health moment, but please throughout this year, one of the best things that you can do is to really try to give yourself grace. When you think about growing as a person, when you think about your own mental health and wellness, please give yourself grace. But the first thing I want you to, which kind of generally happens anyway, maybe the end of last year or right now, this first week of the year, maybe you're already reflecting, which is great. It's good to take the time to reflect. We're often so busy and kind of zooming through life and not really taking the time we need to reflect. When you reflect, though, I know this is going to be hard, but also try your best in your reflection time to not try to have so much judgment against yourself. So when I say reflect, I mean like last year, and not the judgment of what you wanted to happen that maybe didn't happen, or things you wanted to have done that you didn't get done, or goals you didn't accomplish. All those sorts of things, it's bound to happen, right? So working on, again, giving yourself grace, working on not being as judgmental towards yourself or towards things that weren't even in your control in the first place is something I want you to think about as you're reflecting and thinking about what you need to release. Thanks so much for joining here. Dr. Hammond here with your mental health moment. For those of you just tuning in, we're talking about, as I know you've heard it before, but I really want to dive into this notion of letting go. right? And letting go of last year as we head into something new. There's a new energy that just happens at the start of different years a lot of time. So the first thing is, again, when you're reflecting and you're releasing, are you working on it's not always easy, but are you working on also giving yourself grace and working on reflecting from a place where you're not judging and blaming yourself for everything that happened or didn't happen? The second thing is, and thanks for those who are still starting to join here. The second thing is to really think about, and I want you to put in the chat, since I can actually see the chat today, about your not just your intentions for the year and your goals, which are extremely important. Of course, maybe you make New Year's resolutions or goals for the year, but also what is your intention for the feelings that you want to have more of this year? And when I say feelings, I mean, are you trying to have more happiness in your life? Are you trying to have more peace in your life? Are you trying to feel more confident in your life? Like, what is it for you? So maybe just like a one word or phrase, but put it in the chat. I would love to hear it. If you were to say, okay, I want to set an intention, these are the types of feelings that I want to experience more of this year, then put it in the chat. And again, there's no right or wrong answer. But there's a range of things that you may want to experience more of. Um, one of the things for me every year, frankly, is inner peace. Like that's always very high on my list. Have feeling the feeling of inner peace. Is it every single day of the year? Of course not. That would be unrealistic. Oh, someone else said peace as well. Of course, it's not realistic. We can't be in a state of inner peace every single second, every single minute of the day. But if you know what you guys are putting in the chat, if you know what feelings you want to feel more, then your actions and the things that you do should guide your decisions, right? Patience is so hard. Depending on what area of your life, that can be a really, really tough one sometimes. But I love that. I love that wanting to have more peace and happiness and love and patience. So then, again, whatever you wrote in the chat, when you set that intention, you're saying this is what I want to feel more of. Again, when you are gonna, which is gonna happen at some point in this year, when you're at that fork in the road, when you have certain decisions to make, I hope that you go back to your intention that you set. Again, if it was happiness and love, appreciative, patience, peace, whatever it is you set, that you say, okay, is this aligning with the things that I said I intended to do and to feel this year? Right. So we want to make sure this all connects. And again, keep it in mind, yes, there's a bumps in the road. Those will come, right? But also there's certain things that we are able to control and certain decisions that we do have to make, keeping those things in mind. So I love your answers. These are perfect. And then the third part of letting go is also, well, it's really two parts. The third part of letting go of last year, and again, whatever happened didn't happen. Maybe it was some emotions, maybe it was things when you were looking, reflecting on yourself, is to really be in a place of gratitude and forgiveness. This is not an overnight process. Nothing is an overnight process. Really, when it comes to your mental health and wellness, it's a journey, but really being in a place of gratitude though. So when you look at this new year, what are you grateful for? So it's really easy. I saw a lot actually at the end of last year on social media. Everyone wants to do their recaps. It's like 2024 recaps and all what happened and all what didn't happen and the disappointments and all the things. But also, as we're in this new season, we're blessed to be here in this new year. What are you grateful for? And are you making sure to head back to a state of gratitude? Which doesn't mean all your problems are going to go away, but are you in that mindset, in a state of gratitude? And the other part again is the forgiveness. And maybe that's something. Ooh, forgiveness, that's a whole nother mental health moment that we did a while back, but it's not, again, not an overnight process, but it could be something that you need to do within yourself, um, or for someone else, or both. Okay. Which is again a whole nother mental health. But those are the formula, that's the formula, if you will, of really thinking about what do I need to let go of. Um, and again, for those of you joining here, We are talking about letting go and the beginning of this new year as we just think about turning the page. Like this is a new chapter, right? We're in 2025 now, new chapter, new things. I do want to say though that when it comes to letting go, not everything is weighted the same, if that makes sense. Meaning there's just some things that may be really difficult that happened to you in 2024 that you can't just there's not just a light switch where you just turn off that emotion related to that. So again, give yourself grace. There's certain things that may be small things you're like, okay, let me, kind of process this and move through it. And then there may have been certain things that are so large and in the scheme of your life and heavy or traumatic or really sad or really anxiety provoking or whatever it is that you may have went through that you need more time to process, and that's okay. So I also want to remind you, when you see on social media, which you will, let it go, and new year, new me, and all the things, just know you were allowed you are allowed to take the time that you need to process through, whether that's with through yourself and your reflections, if you're journaling, if you're talking with a friend or family member, if you're in therapy, wherever it is that you need to process this information and move through, right? To really mentally get into this new year is what is best for you, right? We all have different paths. We all have a different wellness journey. Um, and yeah, I believe it was last year, or not last year, but yes, last year, last week, which was last year. When some of you told me your words and your phrases for the year as well. So again, keep those again, your intentions, keep those close. Your intentions of what you want to feel more of. And also your if you have a word or a phrase for the year, I want you to really keep that close to your heart as well, because that's really important. I know that depending on what your belief systems are, sometimes it can be hard to be like, oh, do I really need to be focused or just, allow life to happen? But it is nice sometimes when you have a filter and like, you guys wrote, I want to feel more patience or more peace or more happiness and love. It's nice to have that filter as you go through the year and make the decisions that are going to come up. Right. Um, so let me take a quick pause and let you all know. Oh, I don't have the date for that yet. Okay. Anyhow, well, I will let you all know when I know the date. I just realized I there's an event that I believe is open to the public. I do need to double check on that. And I will share it when I know the date. I think I find out this week. So maybe by next week. But I do plan, as I told you all before, to invite you anything that I have speaking wise coming up that's open to the public. Some things aren't. There's just a lot of private events as well. But I will definitely share that with you. And do my best to update drnekeshiahammond.com, which will have the information and the links to sign up for things and different events that are in the community. And also, in case you haven't heard and you're not on my Instagram stories where I already announced it, this Friday I will have the part 2 of my newest book out. It'll be on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Walmart.com. I will show you all that book next week. But I think those are my my two biggest announcements. Actually, there's a journal too. There's a book and a journal, but that all comes out this Friday. If you are not following me already, Dr. Nekeshia Hammond on all social media platforms is where on Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook or wherever it is that you are on social, you can follow me there and I'll have all the updates, all the information, links, and all that sort of thing as well. But yeah, I think those are my two announcements for you all. But I wanted to share that because I was getting a lot of feedback from good feedback from the last book, but there were other things other parts that I put together in basically a book too, and a journal for you guys to think about and in your reflection time, give you more tools, if you will. And I have even more announcements, but I'll wait until next week or the week after. There's a lot happening, great things, and I'll share them with you each week. But I'm just continue to work on more ways to help you all and help the greater community when it comes to mental health and wellness and being better versions of yourself, because you deserve that. You deserve to thrive. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to be emotionally healthy. You really, really, I believe that from the depths of my soul. Like you deserve these things, but it takes time sometimes to believe it, just depending on our life experiences. So I will be having even more mental health tools, and yeah, and I'll be announcing a little surprise next week, some goodies, some freebies, and some stuff next week as well. So yeah, I think those are all my announcements. So I will wrap up today's mental health moment and just remind you all again, when you think about the process of letting go, it does take the time to reflect, of course, what you want to release, what intentions you want to set, what feelings you want to have more of, and also having that place of gratitude and forgiveness. I know that sounds like a lot. It's not overnight, but it is very doable for you. It takes time though. It takes time, and you have to give yourself grace through the process. So, and yes, I'll have more announcements next week. I'll show you what the new books look like next week. And yeah, and we'll continue on our mental health journey and wellness journey this year, this new exciting year. So be blessed. Have an amazing rest of your week. I'll see you all next week. Bye guys.